I saw a really cool YouTube video. I saw a YouTube video and I thought that was a really fun idea. I want to do that as well on stream. Yes, it was a video
Patient part?
called "Which Honkai Star Rail character is the reddest flag?" And it's like it's basically rating all the characters as like how, how should you date them? Should you not? How fucked up are they really? And it's by a person called Kimch. I don't know how you pronounce their name. But they were quite funny. In fact, you know what? I'll even put their name in chat. Well, their video. Here's the video I saw. But I thought, why didn't I do that on stream? So, we're going to do it on stream. So there you go. That's it. So we'll do this first, and then we'll watch the thingy afterwards. So here is the closest thing I could find, because I don't think it's an actual tier list. But let's start with this. In fact, actually, there's also room for a picture of the day, so why don't we bring this one out? Actually, I saw this in another Discord, and I thought that's really funny, so I saved it into the folder, and now it's valid to be on stream, so I thought, fuck it. It's going there then, let's just put it there. Why not? So yeah, that's the story. That is the story. Right. We got red flag, and green flag. I think she said something like lime flag, I think? Lime flag with lowercase f, because we're a professional, you gotta be inconsistent as possible. And then I guess an orange flag was probably what this one was, I guess. So now we got 4 shades of green on red flags, right? So automatically, actually, let's have another tier. Add a row below, because unranked. Literal child. I'm gonna put all the children in here, which there actually aren't that many. He counts as a child. Misha counts. She does, like Tribby or something. Clara, obviously. Lynx probably, and I think Taylor. I think her as well. Herta, technically a child in this form. Sushang's probably like 16 or something. Hook is obviously a child. I think Taylor counts as a child, because they lowered her age. Arlen has a job, so he's probably an adult. He doesn't look like him, he looks very young. Hua technically has a job, but is also a child, I think. I think it's both. I think that's all the kids out of the way. I think the rest of them are at least adults. Like, at least, like, old enough to be considered an adult. Maybe Gonithan's actually quite young as well, so we're gonna get rid of her. I think this is probably sufficient. This is probably the tier list, right? Shall we get going? So once again, original video. That was English, I swear to God. Original video was "Which Honkai Star Rail is the character? Which Honkai Star Rail character is the reddest flag?" As of 2.7 by Kim. That is Kim CCH. She might have gotten the idea from someone else. I don't know, but she's the one that I saw, so I'm gonna give her credit. Righty then. Unfortunately, this text is gonna be really dodgy, but it should always be out of the way whenever we're actually ranking stuff, probably. Hopefully. Find out. Let's get started with Acheron then. So this is like, in a relationship, how much of a red flag are they? Like, would you want to date this person, realistically? Acheron is honestly, I would say, one of these two. I wouldn't call her a red flag. I feel really bad for her. I feel like Acheron is a person that I want to give them a big old hug. You know what I mean? I feel like they've been through so much shit. They don't deserve it. But like, they are still very much a dangerous person. Not in the sense of that they're gonna kill you. They probably wouldn't kill you. There's no real reason for them to do so. But like, they are literally a walking apocalypse, you know what I mean? They pull out that sword, they could destroy the entire fucking planet. I think it's an orange flag. I think you should avoid this person. This person's a red flag and a half. I have met them like twice in the story currently. Aglaia, I think her name is. I don't like Aglaia at all. Do not trust this person at all. Honestly, I think she's gonna stab us in the... Oh, she already kind of has, essentially. I don't trust her one bit. Just seems like a pretty shitty person. Argenti. I would put him in lime flag. I feel like he almost deserves green flag. But I feel like, here's the problem with Argenti, right? He's a man who is married to his work. It's like, he'll never love you more than he loves Driller. And that for me would be a lime flag. That's someone I wouldn't want to date because I'd be like, I'd constantly thinking like, man, this guy doesn't really love me as much as this other woman. You know what I mean? I'd be like really uncomfortable. I'd be like, man, it's kind of sad. I don't know. Aventurine. Orange flag. I don't know. A lot of people love this guy. A lot of people be like, oh my god, he's so precious. I love this guy. He's going in Greek. No, this guy is a fucking basically a sociopath. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he loves his sister. That's it. I don't know what people see in him. He's objectively a pretty horrible person. Like, I feel bad for him. Yeah, he's been again like a Acheron. He's been through a lot of shit, and he doesn't deserve it. I wouldn't say he deserves any of it, but it's like this is a gambling man, literally gambling of his life like every other day. Literally shows no real liking for anyone at all, other than his sister when he was a child, and he's had a lot of years to become sociopathic since then. I just feel like I have no real connection with this character, because ultimately I just felt like he was a really bad person, and I didn't really like him very much. I felt sorry for him, that's it. Oh, Bar was a child, hang on. And then Black Swan. I guess she's a lime flag, mate. She's one of these two. I wouldn't put her in red flag, but I wouldn't necessarily be like, I wouldn't want to date her. But that's not because she's like any kind of flag, that's just because I don't really like her as a person. So I'm a bit biased towards this. I don't think she's inherently dangerous or like unpleasant to be around in that regard. She's probably all like mentally sound. She's probably all there, you know, mentally I'd imagine. She's probably all like fairly safe, fairly comfortable to be around. And, yeah, can I... Actually, hang on, if I can just make this text have a background, that would probably solve all of my problems, I bet. If I do... Right. So yeah, Black Swan, like, it's a hard one to classify. I feel like she wouldn't love you. I feel like she wouldn't love any person, but I could be wrong. I feel like I don't really know enough about Black Swan, but I don't particularly like her. I wasn't very big on her. And then we have Blade. Blade's a red flag. Like, he's not actually a bad person, but he is very dangerous, and he's literally talking about constantly, which, you know, apologies if that triggers you, that's always not my intention, but that is effectively his entire character. At the end of the day, he wants to die. He is suffering, he hates being alive, he's not really looking for the simple pleasures of life anymore. I don't think he wants love or romance or anything like that. I think he just wants to die and that's it, and for that reason I would say avoid him, because you're only going to get heartbroken if he succeeds, and if he doesn't succeed, he's going to be miserable, so it's like, what can you really do? You don't really have much of a choice, it's just... It's not someone you want to spend your life with, is how I see it, you know what I mean? Also, it's kind of bugging me that, like, they're all not in order. Hang on. Apparently we can't, but yeah, so there you go. We have Boot Hill. Boot Hill is one of these two again. Most of them are going to be the... I feel like this is just how it's going to go. I feel like Boot Hill's an orange flag. My reasoning is he's not really dangerous to you, unless you're actually a bad person, but he's also a heavy drinker, isn't he? He's implied to be drinking a lot, very often. He's generally a pretty fun and likable person, and I wouldn't feel that uneasy around him, because again, I'm not a criminal, right? I know he's not going to kill me. And I think most people would have that same confidence, because it's like, why would he do that? What reason would he have to hurt you? I don't think he would have a reason. I think he's generally a pretty good guy. But he is also living a very dangerous life. Very much so. I think part of his body is mechanical, so he probably lost his limbs in some horrific accident as well during his job. You know, he's not really the sort of person who you could comfortably be like, yep, this is a person that I want to spend my life with, because I feel like would be a very short one. We have Bronya, who is perhaps an orange flag again, because this is more my bias. This is again the same sort of thing I had about Argenti, where she kind of has a job where it's going to be her entire life. It's not really a job that you can like be like, oh yeah, you know, you get a break at the weekend, we can go to the beach or something. It's literally, she's always working. She's always on the job. Even when she's at home, she's thinking about her job. For me, that's a big ol' orange flag. For me, that's like there's not really the connection that I want with a person in that. That would really get on my nerves. I think it would drive me crazy. I could be wrong, but I think Bronya is that kind of person. And yeah, I don't think she's, you know, we can't really say that red flags are like they're gonna kill you, because I think there's too many people who actually would not kill you objectively. Even the next few probably wouldn't. Probably. Maybe. Possibly. But yeah, generally I would say dangerous person, not in the sense of like they're gonna get you killed, but Bronya is just kind of not a very good person to hang around with. I think you wouldn't have a very fulfilling relationship with them, and it would be kind of miserable. Inhibitor Lune Dan Hung, which we'll probably do this in Dan Hung normally right away. Honestly, he could be a green flag. Like he'd be pretty boring, but like he's a pretty good guy. He'd probably spend some time with you. I don't think, like, I guess he's got the dark history, but like he kind of resolves it in the story, right? If we rate them on where they currently are as of 3.0, I feel like him, and of course normal Dan Hung, I feel like they're both just green flags, right? They're just, there's not really anything wrong with them anymore. Like they had the dark history. They had this horrible past that was really bad, and that they were struggling with it, and you could call that a lime flag perhaps. It's not too bad, it's like, you know, it's there. But now that it's resolved, he's just kind of just a good guy. Like, I don't know, there's nothing really wrong with him, is there? Anyway, Dr. Ratio, this guy's a big old red flag, I'm gonna be honest. Like, he's not a bad person. Actually, he's got a pretty good heart, I reckon. Actually, I think I'm a little bit biased because of that woman's video that I watched, that YouTuber's video. She talked about him a little bit in a way that made me think about him a little bit differently. Like, I didn't particularly dislike him. Like, in the game, Herta, in particular, I have this memory that Herta really hates him. And she talks about him as just being this horrible bastard who just makes some people give up on their passion because of how mean he is at teaching them. But I think it's the kind of person I am, where I hear that and I just think, well, I guess they weren't very passionate to begin with, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm just a bit too cynical, but I feel like you want a teacher like Dr. Ratio who he does give a shit about you, and he does want you to succeed, even if he's really horrible, even if he's a bit of a wanker. Like, I'm not saying he's perfect, so obviously he's not. He should be a bit nicer, a bit more encouraging, a bit sweeter. That's an important part of teaching a person here. You gotta reward them as much as you punish them in that sense. But Dr. Ratio, I appreciate at least that he has his heart in the right place, and he ultimately does want you to succeed. And I feel like if you give up, that's on you. That's your decision. It's not his fault for giving up. Like, if you take everything, if you go into it and you're just like, man, this guy's mean to me. I'm done. It's like, okay, well, I guess you save you the trouble of giving up later on instead. Then when someone criticizes you and you can't fucking handle it, it's just, I don't know. I think he's not really like a bad person, but he is a massive wanker. Like, I don't think that you should date a person like Dr. Ratio, because he would just talk down to you, just treat you like a fucking animal. It'd be so rude, so disrespectful to you all the time. It would be insufferable. How about just for fun, we'll jump to some of the purples, because we've got so many golds like ranked here already. Let's do Arlen. Arlen is honestly just a sweetheart. I don't think he'd be a bad person at all. He'd be a bit hapless, a bit silly, but like, I feel like he's just a good guy. Just a genuinely good guy. I don't know. He's a bit young. He could be a child, possibly. If he is, just put him in the tier below. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I think he's not a doc. He has a job. He's a captain of the security, so he's probably not a child. You'd hope not. But yeah, next we have Asta, who I think I will put her in lime flag. I would quite happily put her in green flag, personally. But I don't think I should, because Asta is a person with absolutely no grasp of how normal people live their lives, and I think that it would become very insufferable very quickly. I think it's one of those things where she's never wanted for money. She doesn't know what it's like to struggle for money, to struggle with these difficulties that normal people have, and she'd constantly just be like, oh, it's only like $50,000, that's easy, that's pocket change, here, I'll buy it, and like, yeah, that's cool, but it's also really annoying when you're just like, what am I providing at this point? Now, obviously your relationship isn't about money, and I'm the last person to say that it is, just to clarify, before you get the wrong idea about it, that's kind of a weird thing to say. But like, it is an important thing to consider. Just how little she would value something like money. And you could even call that a green flag. I mean, maybe that doesn't bother you at all, but I just think it's just irresponsible. I think that you really need to have an understanding of people and the struggles that people deal with, because most people do struggle with money. It's not just a matter of just purely do we struggle with money, it's a matter of other people as well understanding the situation. You can't just offhandedly just say, oh well, it's easy for me, so it should be easy for them. And I think that inherent arrogance and rudeness from her would kind of drive me mad. I think I'd get sick of it. I think I'd be like, fuck it, like, look, can you chill out a little bit? Can you stop just for a minute? Put the brakes on. Stop spending money. Also, she works hard as well, so she could be away for a while, but I don't think it's as bad as someone like Bronny would be. I feel like Astra's probably not working all the time. But that's just my headcanon, I don't actually know that, obviously. Let's do good old Galag her. Yep, good old Galaga. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of biased putting him in green flag. Because if we did ignore the stuff that he does in the story, given that he never did anything to actually hurt anyone who was a good person, for me that's not really a bad thing. But he did also break the law a lot, I guess. So maybe we should put him in lion flag. I feel like Gallagher's not that bad of a guy. He seems alright to me. Like, he seems like a pretty good guy. Fei Xiao, it breaks my heart, but she's just a red flag. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't want to say it. I actually love Fei Xiao. She's so cool. Like, she's so badass. I love Fei Xiao. But you wouldn't really want to date someone like Fei Xiao. You shouldn't, anyway. Because you could not conceivably match her pace, and she probably wouldn't like you. Unless you could at least get close to her in that sense. If you were like a challenge and she could spar with you, I think she would like you then. Anything less than that, I think she would just find you boring, and she'd be like, whatever. That's a red flag. For me, that's a complete red flag. That's just avoid this person. Don't try, don't be dumb. Just be their friend, just be supportive, and maybe like, you could like bake some cookies for them. You could do something nice for them every now and then as a gesture of just showing that you appreciate them. But don't try to date them. Don't get with this person. They will make your life bloody miserable, and they'll probably dump you very quickly because they're not gonna trust. Why would they even date you? I mean, why would they bother? They wouldn't care. Firefly is a green flag. You don't need me to tell you. You don't need me to explain to you why. Obviously, we know why she's a green flag. She's the sweetest sweetheart that ever sweat. She's so lovely. I don't know, she's just so kind and so lovely. I keep saying lovely. Yeah, I don't even have the words. You get what I mean though, right? She's wonderful. Fu Xuan is probably an orange flag. I actually kind of love Fu Xuan. I think she's like a Bronya that I could put up with, but that's just a personal preference thing. There's just something about Fu Xuan I find inherently likable. I think it's because of how grumpy she is. I think it's very cute. I think that's literally all it is. I think grumpy people are very cute and very charming, and I don't know why. I think it's like I think it's just personal preference. I think it's just a personal taste thing for me. I think it's very cute, but yeah, they're still an orange flag. You still wouldn't want to date them because they're always busy. She's even got aspirations to become the general one day, she said, right? So I mean, she's obviously gonna be very, very busy. She's very career-driven, career-focused. She's obviously a really intelligent lady, and you can't really get in the way of that ambition. You can't really be like, oh yeah, let's go on dates. Let's just spend like, again, let's go to the beach on the weekend or something. Let's just go have a dinner. Because she's like, no, I'm doing stuff. No, sorry, I'm busy. No, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. This is coming up. I have foreseen this thing is going to happen. I have to do this first. Prepare for this, and it'd just be like, you'd be like, when is it time for me then? When do we get to spend time together? So it's just. It's an orange flag, but I am biased nonetheless because, again, I think grumpy people are just very cute, and I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. If anything, it'd probably be not very nice to deal with. But it is cute. Also, I think I will put these guys in here mostly because, I mean, they are technically children, but they don't really look or act like children. But I also feel like their personality is decided by the player, so it's really hard to actually gauge whether they're good or bad, so I'm going to put them in there regardless, and just make it easy for myself. Right, now we have Fugue. Fugue, good old Fugue, as I like to call her. I guess we do Tingyun and Fugue at the same time. Technically this is Fantilia. If this was Fantilia, this is the red flag. Fugue is, she's been through a lot. She's had a really rough time. I think she's kind of in the Acheron sort of category, right? She's probably an orange flag. She seems very sweet and very pleasant, just a lovely person. If we ignore the fact that she could easily manipulate you because you know, she's a master of that sort of thing. If we put that aside and just say, no, she loves you, she wouldn't manipulate you, that's fine. We can go with that. Then we would probably be saying that, well, yeah, I'd probably put an orange flag in that case. I think it should be a red flag otherwise. If she's lying to you, red flag. Like, if she's lying to you all the time and manipulating you, that's not healthy. Stay outside of that, get away from that. Get out. But yeah, Fugue, I think Fugue would be an orange flag, because she's got a lot of issues, a lot of shit she's been dealing with, she's having a rough time, she's probably not actually dangerous, and she might even appreciate your friendship or your, you know, the closest of relationship. I don't really know. I have no idea. I haven't spoke to this fictional character before. I don't know. But, like, I don't know, I feel like it's not out of the question that you could potentially have a connection with this person. You could potentially bond with them. You know, much so as everyone else in that category, you could bond with them, but I don't think you should try. I think you should let them deal with their own issues first, and be their friend and offer some support for them, perhaps. But don't just try to put extra pressure and just be like, hey, date me. You know, take it one day at a time, one step at a time, and just be helpful, just be there for them, and just show them that you care about them, that you want to chat. And if they want to talk to you, if they need some help, you're there for them. You're ready. I guess in a way that's the whole orange flag category for me. That's my way of thinking. That you can be there for this person, and you can support them, and you can help them, but you probably shouldn't be engaging in an actual romance with them because they've got a lot going on. Japard, I feel like you could make an argument for him being in green flag. He's not really a bad guy. Like, he's a pretty good guy. But he would be really annoying to deal with. I don't know, I feel like I couldn't stomach dealing with him for too long. I feel like he's the kind of guy I would appreciate seeing him like once a month and be like, oh, how are you? How have you been? Any more than that, I'd be like, oh, hey, Jafar, what's up? How are you doing? I'd get really sick of him, because he seems like a very straight-laced, very serious person, and I feel like he would be, you know, like you'd try to cross the street and he'd be like, but how could you? You didn't wait for the traffic light, you didn't find a zebra crossing. Why are you crossing the street here? You shouldn't do that. I'd be like, Jafar, there's no fucking cars, what are you talking about? Like, there were no cars coming, of course I crossed the street, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? I feel like he'd be that kind of guy. I'd be so sick of him. I'd get so fucking sick of his shit so quickly. They're like, mate, look, I'm sorry, it's not gonna work out. So for me, he's a line flag, 'cause he's not really a bad person, he's not really dangerous. In fact, I would say you're very safe with him. But he's still kind of annoying, and I think that makes me biased against him. Like, if you're into that sort of person, that goody two-shoes sort of vibe, then by all means, go for it. Himiko is a green flag. She's so lovely. There's nothing wrong with Himiko. She is objectively just a lovely person, just a very wonderful, very kind person, which is funny because now we have two fire characters who are both in the same category. Yeah, just a great person, just a great partner probably. If you chose Himiko, you're a smart man or woman. Either way, you're a very smart person. Jade is a fucking red flag. Like, she might be the reddest flag of them all. She might be the single worst character so far. Out of the entire cast, I might say she's the worst one in terms of like red flags. It's like they say dating a lawyer is a terrible idea, or like marrying a lawyer. I think she is like a step above that. She's like a step beyond being a lawyer. She could literally crush your entire life, and she fucking would do it as well. Like, I don't think she would even think twice about doing it. Like, she wouldn't even like wait for you to break up with her. She would just crush your fucking life. And your balls, probably. Purely because you just like, you know, you left the fridge door open or something, which to be fair is pretty fucking annoying, but like, she's just like, man, well, I guess that's it. I guess he's fucked now. I guess that's his entire life gone. I think Jade is just an objectively horrible person. Just awful person, honestly. I would not trust her at all. This guy seems good, though. He's probably a line. He's definitely got a bit of a mean streak to him. Like, he's got that weird laxative thing that he does in the, March quest line. In the sword march thing, he like uses laxatives. He's using like his medicinal skills to make something like some horrible like medicine that can like just fuck people up basically. So in that sense, I think he's probably sufficiently dangerous, sufficiently unhinged that he can't really be called a green flag anymore. But I think he's generally a pretty good-hearted person. So generally, I would trust him. Jing Yuan! I want to put this guy in the green flag, but again, I cannot for the same reason I put Fu Shivan up here. I think he would be a bit too busy. But I can kind of see him just making time for you. Like, I know this is kind of a violation of the rule that I've set. But I feel like Jing Yuan, if you think about it, he's had a pretty... For what we know, he's had a pretty good life. He's generally a pretty good, kind person. You know, he thinks about the people around him. And yeah, he has a good job, which would be a more of a red flag sort of thing. Because he'd be very busy. But he also slacks off a lot, which I think is actually a positive, for me at least. That's a positive. Because it means you're not constantly fighting with him to be like, hey, spend time with me, because it's just like, you'd be like, yeah, let's go. He'd be the one who says, hey, let's go to the beach this weekend, even though he's got like he's like 5 meetings planned on the Saturday, but he's like, fuck it, let's just go to the beach, why not? Like, he just wouldn't show up about it and be like, oh yeah, sorry, I was doing stuff with my family. And it's like, what a cool guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's a line flag, he's still very busy, and he has a lot of enemies, he's still a dangerous person, but it's like, just a good guy. I think Jing Yuan is, like, honestly pretty high up there in terms of people that you would actually want to date. I like him. I think Jing Lu is a red flag. Her whole life... her whole life revolves around literally just being a bad person who wants to kill people, I think. I could be completely wrong. I feel like she had about 10 minutes of screen time in the entire story, so maybe I just don't realize. Maybe she's a lot better than I think she is. But if she removes the blindfold, she just kills you, right? Is that correct? Is that how this works? She takes up the blindfold, she'll kill you? She just goes mad? She's like Mara struck, I think? I don't know. I'm honestly not an expert on how it works, and I won't pretend to be an expert on the lore. I certainly am not that well read on Star Rail lore because I don't really care enough, but the characters are cute. And I think Jing Lu is probably pretty low on their list of characters that I like. I would probably put her right at the bottom, so maybe I'm biased against her. I'd put her probably not last place, but she's definitely close. Just a character I never really connected with at any point. Next we have Kafka. Now this is the one I've been preparing for mentally for a long time. This is the single most controversial one out of everyone, and it's purely my own headcanon that decides this. She's an orange flag, she's not a red flag. Alright, hear me out. Alright, hear me out real quick. So, in my mind, Kafka is not an inherently bad person. I have to take some copium real quick. So, Kafka is not actually a very bad person. Kafka's actually quite sweet. Because look. She only kills people because she has to. To get to the good ending as given to her, as prescribed by Elio. She has to kill these people, so she does it. Not because she wants to, she doesn't want to hurt these people. She just has to do it, because if she doesn't do it, the whole world dies. The whole galaxy just crumbles. It's purely because she needs to do it. And she's just such a good-hearted person that she couldn't possibly allow the deaths of several trillion people. So instead, a few million will have to die instead, you know? It's just how she doesn't make the rules, she can't help it. It's gotta be done, it can't be helped. I don't think she would kill you for being interested. I think she would actually be genuinely flattered. If you were like, wow, you're beautiful, what the heck? I don't think she'd be like, haha, that's really cool, bang. I don't think she would actually kill you. I don't think she would even think about it. I think the only situation in which you die is if she has to do it. Is if she genuinely has to kill you, I think that's when you die. And it would be very sad to be betrayed by the person you loved, definitely. That would be red flag material if I thought there was actually a likelihood of that happening, but let's be real, neither me nor you are important enough to the Star Rail universe that you would have to die for something to happen. Right? I mean, surely it wouldn't have to happen. Surely Kafka would never betray you. She also probably wouldn't date you, because why would she? She's a very career-driven person, she's very focused on what she needs to do, she's probably fully locked in, fully willing to disregard everything she has, or will have, may have, etc, etc. I don't think she's a particularly good person. But I do think that she is good enough that you could date her if she was into you for some reason. I don't know why she would be, but if she was, I don't think it's out of the question that you can actually legitimately have a relationship with her and actually have it mean something. You know what I mean? I don't think she'd be the worst person. Lingsha? I don't know much about her, but I think she's a green flag. She seems pretty kind, from what I know. Again, I'm not an expert, I wouldn't pretend to be an expert. Lingsha seems pretty good. I think she seems pretty kind, just a pretty lovely person, really. You know what, I'm also going to do something really weird, just because it kind of annoys me having them, like, there we go. We'll just have new... we'll just have that, there we go. Just so they're all separate from each other now. It's not really loud, is it? Probably is, I'm very sorry. So, Lingsha. Certified sweetheart, I think. She loves smelly things, by which I mean perfumes, not like anything else. But I think Lingsha's just very kind, very sweet, very lovely person. But I don't really know the character well enough to really have a proper opinion of them. I think this is like a perhaps you could get along with this person. Perhaps, you know, I think there's a pretty good chance they're just a pretty sane individual, a pretty genuinely sane, kind individual that you could probably get along with pretty well. That is my opinion, and I'm of course the expert. So there we go. We have Locha, who I don't really know anything about. I almost have forgotten he existed. I guess he's an orange flag, because he seems quite dangerous. And he obviously has some sort of an ultimate goal that he has to work on. I feel like him, Hugh, and Ruin May, if she's here. I don't see her anywhere. Oh no, there she is. I think they're all probably orange flags. I don't think Ruin May would kill you. I'm saying this because I see a lot of hate for Ruin May. I'm always really surprised by how much people greatly dislike Ruin May as a person. I've never really had that. I've never really felt any kind of animosity towards her. I generally don't know why people dislike her so much. She seems alright to me. Like, I probably wouldn't date her because she probably wouldn't. I don't know if she has the capacity to actually love someone in a romantic way. So that's a pretty big red flag on its own. But like, I don't think she would actually be a threat to you. Let's say, theoretically, if she wanted to date you for some reason, I don't think that would be like a dangerous thing. I don't think she would actually hurt you. I feel like, if anything, it would probably just be a very boring relationship where not much ever really happened. Probably wouldn't even be having sex or anything like that. You'd probably just be in a relationship in name only almost, and you just occasionally just sort of like have dinner together and you're just like, how was your day, honey? And that would be it. So it's not really like a red flag, it's kind of just like a... You know, she's obviously not a great person, not the greatest grasp of human emotions and all that. But she's not all that bad. I mean, she could be worse. She could be a lot worse than she is, you know what I mean? Like, you'll live, probably. This guy, I have barely met. I've just about been introduced to this character in the story currently, because I'm pretty behind. I'm always busy, so I'm not really doing much in Star Rail, but you know. This guy, My Day, I think his name is something. I think it's My Day. I think I'll put him here from what I do know about him. I wouldn't trust him, personally. I don't think I would trust him because he's a very aggro kind of guy, very aggressive, very focused on war, I believe, and like killing people and fighting and all that, so that's probably not really someone you'd want to date because that'd be very dangerous. Like, what happens if like let's say like he leaves something in the fridge but he doesn't mark it and you think, oh, that's like a snack, okay, I'm gonna eat that, and you eat it and then it turns out that he really wanted that. I don't think he's gonna sulk and get angry at you. I think he's gonna straight up fucking challenge you to a fight to the death. I feel like he would actually just like pull out like a fucking kitchen knife and be like, well, choose your fucking weapon, mate, let's just go. Let's have it out right now. It's over. You know what I mean? I feel like I cannot fathom actually being in a relationship with a person like that. I would genuinely be afraid for my life. In fact, I'm actually gonna put this guy in red flag. Again, I don't know him as a character yet. I haven't probably met the character yet in the game, so I don't really know if they're actually like that, but that's how I picture it in my head. Let's up to the purples again for a little bit. So Hanya is probably a red flag. I don't think you would be in danger, but I don't think she would be able to love you, and she has a horrible past, a lot of issues to deal with, is a very busy person. I don't think there's really anything about Hanya that would make her suitable as a romantic partner. I think she's just a solid red flag, personally. That's again, you know, I'm not going to be an expert, I've already said this before. I think for the same reason I would put her sister next to her. They both kind of belong up here, I think, in red flags. Like, they're not bad people, they're just, like, completely unsuitable people for this sort of... the purpose of actual romantic relationship, you know what I mean? Luca's a sweetheart, just a genuinely, again, another really good guy. He deserves to be in green flag. Everything about Luca is just so lovely and so sweet. I would if Luca was a woman, or looked a bit more feminine, I would gladly date them. I'd be like, sure, yep, let's go, Luca. And you go to all of his or her matches, and you cheer them on, and it'd be a really cute little thing. It'd be very sweet. So then we have March and the other March. We have March and July. Let's see. I think I would not put them in green flag. They're gonna be lime flag, perhaps. I think for these two. Like, March is a sweet enough person. I don't dislike March. But I do think there's a few things about her that make her really, really obnoxious to deal with. I think that at the worst of times she can be quite insufferable. At the best of times she can be quite charming and quite friendly and pleasant. I think the biggest problems March has is she's kind of got her head really far up her own ass, and it's really fucking annoying to deal with, where she's kind of just like, look, aren't I great, aren't I amazing, fucking validate me all the time, and I'd be like, man, like, look, you're doing fine, mate, don't worry, don't push yourself so much, for goodness sake, calm down, you know what I mean? It would be so annoying. I think I'd get sick of it very quickly. I don't think I'd be able to stand it. Yeah, so I put her in lime flag. Like, she's not really, again, not a bad person, not a busy person, not really anything particularly wrong with her. She's quite emotional as well. You could connect with a person like March, but I do think that she's kind of got this annoying, almost childish sort of arrogance to her, which just makes her a little bit annoying. I think a little bit unpleasant to deal with. Moser's a red flag. I'm getting a bit tired of talking, so I'm not going to talk about Moser. You know why he's a red flag, that's that. Natasha is the greenest of green flags. She's so sweet, so lovely. Those are the only two words I can give to people. A green flag is just the sweet or lovely tier, or both. There's no other words I can give to those characters. That's what they are. They're just so gentle and kind and loving. Natasha is like somebody we would actually want to be like your partner, I think, IRL. I think you would genuinely want Natasha in your life, because why wouldn't you? Like, she's so lovely. I'm gonna probably get some water for my throat because I've been talking like non-stop, like constantly. Hey, it's me again. I am back with water. Right. Qingxue. Or Qingxue, is it? It might be Qingxue, because I've sort of realized recently.
Someone messed up.
Ooh, thank you very much.
Nearly a year as an affiliate.
I played twice, that's cool. But thank you so much for the subscription. Can't believe it's been nearly an entire year, holy shit. Qingxue is one of those characters that I genuinely love. I think she's so fucking charming that I don't think I could put them in any other than a green flag. I don't think there's anything really wrong with her. I think she's kind of lazy, a bit of a gremlin. But like, she doesn't really waste money, she has a good job, she has, you know, not enough, she has enough time for a partner. She's in touch with her emotions, you can easily bond with her, she can chat with her, she has hobbies. I feel like she's just a good person, you know, you could easily chat with Qingxue. Yep, we might prime money back as an infinite money glitch, I'll be on it, don't worry. Yeah, I feel like Qingxue is just a good person. Sampo is probably an orange flag. I would love to put Sampo in lime flag. I feel like Sampo wouldn't be that bad to date. I feel like he'd be a pretty good person. He probably wouldn't treat you badly, even though he's obviously a bit of a scamp, a bit of a rat. I feel like Sampo is, how do I put this? Like, he would constantly be out of town. You know, doing some you know, up to no good, doing some sort of dodgy shit. It'd be like Fagin in Oliver Twist. It'd be a bit like that, but like, not necessarily like a hazard to your health. He wouldn't try to scam you, he wouldn't try to hurt you, he wouldn't put you in harm's way. He probably would make some time for you, I reckon. I feel like Sampo is... You know, you could date someone like Sampo. But you probably shouldn't do it, so he's an orange flag. You probably should leave him be. But it's not out of the question. I don't think in fact, he's actually probably not as bad as some people are in the orange tier. He's actually probably, he could be a lime flag. He could qualify as a lime flag, I think. That's my opinion. Serval is probably a green flag? I feel like she's fine. There's not really anything wrong with Serval, is there? I feel like she's probably okay. Moving on. Yukong. She's definitely not a green flag. She's had a rough life, she's had a lot of issues, she's got a very busy job. She could be an orange flag, but I love Yukong. I am so horribly biased towards bringing her down to lime flag tier. But she's probably an orange flag, to be honest. She's probably an orange flag, because, like, she is canonically quite an older lady. Like, obviously she's like 300 years old, but, like, you know, even in Foxian years, she's still, like, you know, equivalent to being in, like, her 40s or 50s for, like, a human, I think. She's, like, pretty old. Old enough and mature enough, and she's been through a lot. She's got a really difficult past. She's lost her dear friend / child, basically. You know, she's lost so much that you should absolutely support her and be good friends with her. You should look after her as best you can, but I feel like romance is probably inappropriate. I feel like a person like that is not someone you should just blindly rush into dating them. I feel like you should support them and be their friend and just make it known that you care about them and that you want to help them. And then if things progress into romance from there, that's great. That's wonderful. But I'm just saying, don't be dumb. That you shouldn't just be jumping on the, oh yeah, let's immediately get married, let's have kids. Like, no, definitely not with Yukong. I feel like she's married to her work already, you know what I mean? Too dangerous. Right, then we have Rapper. Honestly, I don't know Rapper very well. I feel like I might have skipped the story that she appears in, because I don't remember it at all. I remember the monkey bit happening. There's the cute little monkey bit. Everyone's being turned into monkeys, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna stop it somehow." And then I think I skipped all of it after that, so I didn't find out what the conclusion was to that story arc. So I have no idea what she's actually really like. I mean, she seems alright. You can put in green flags, right? She's probably fine. Probably. She seemed nice enough. Maybe she betrays us, I don't know, but she seems nice. I'll put her in there. Robin is a green flag. I mean, obviously she's rich, so, like, you know, she's rich and she's very famous, she's a celebrity, so that's kind of a lime flag on its own. But I think Robin herself is very level-headed and a very reasonable person, and I think she'd be a very kind person. I think she'd be a very good person to date, realistically. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with Robin, so I'd put her there. Zila is probably a lime flag. I think you could date Zila. I don't think it's too crazy to date Zila. But she has been through a pretty rough life. And she does kind of just, like, kill people sometimes. But, like, obviously not for fun, but, like, you know, more as a... because the Underground's just a really fucking rough place and she kind of has to survive by being the, you know, the top dog or whatever. So I think I can kind of respect Zila as not really being an orange flag, because she probably wouldn't hurt you. She'd probably protect you well, she'd be kind to you, she'd be a good, you know, she'd look after you, she'd be nice to you. And you could do the same for her, and it would all be fine in that regard. But she's still probably she's got some issues, you know, she's been through a lot. And I think that you should probably respect that and be a little bit more considerate, be a bit more careful. You know, don't rush into it. Now, another controversial one. I'm gonna put Silverwolf in lime flag, not orange flag, which I'm sure most would probably put her up here. I'm a little bit biased. I really like dorky characters. I really like dorky women in particular, I think. So I think I'm kind of biased and I'm moving her down lower than she should be. She is a hardened criminal, well, not really she's a criminal. She has a bounty of like 50 billion, trillion, gazillion fucking dollars on her head or whatever. But it's all for cybercrimes. Like, it's not like she's like killing people, you know what I mean? Like, she's kind of just like doing some sketchy, sketchy scamp stuff. She's just kind of being a bit of a nuisance for like big old organizations, and I don't really I don't really care about organizations that feel bad for them, you know what I mean? I feel like, yeah, they probably deserved it anyway. And I feel like Silverwolf's just that kind of charming.
Oh, someone messed
Ooh,
up.
XDD.
Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Sting.
XDDing. I love that emote. It's so fucking silly. It's so good. I'm gonna write it in myself. Yeah, Silverwolf, I feel like she's just too charming. She's too cute. She even has the voice of fucking Neptune as her voice actress, so it's just like... I feel like they're just such a charming character that I couldn't possibly be like, oh yeah, this is someone you, like, you shouldn't date this person. I feel like you probably should be considerate. You probably shouldn't blindly rush into it. In fact, I would dare say this person is probably not very good at... probably has terrible social skills. It's probably a very difficult person to actually romance, because she's probably extremely socially awkward and probably a bit of a thorny person, pretty a bit unpleasant. But I think it's quite doable, as long as you're prepared to not see them very often. And that's not the end of the world for me. I could live with that. Sparkle's a big fucking red flag. That is a big old red flag. Sparkle is actual sociopathic prankster, essentially, like a YouTuber. She probably wouldn't kill you, but she might kill you. So she's a red flag for that. She would absolutely, you would not get a moment's rest with Sparkle in your house. She would be playing pranks on you constantly, and sometimes pretty horrible ones. You'd probably actually be like, you know, like in Hitman, you can like pierce like a fucking like tub of like a, you know, those big old plastic bottles of water, what they call it, the sort of like water cooler, maybe water fountain thingy. You can like pierce those with like a screwdriver, and you can like electrify it like a car battery or something, or like a loose wire. Sparkle would do that to you on the daily as like a prank, and it would be funny to her. I feel like that person, that is not someone I want to be anywhere near me. I'm good to just stay the fuck away from them. They can stay on, they could be on a different country from me. That's fine with me. Like, Sparkle is very cute and charming, and you can say all sorts of good about her, but you should never date this woman. You should stay the fuck away from Sparkle. Absolutely not. Then we have Sunday, who I guess is an orange flag. I mean, there's not really much good to say. He could even be a red flag. He's not really a particularly good person. But yeah, he has a character arc, and yeah, at the end of it all, he's kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, I really fucked up. But it's like, yeah, you did fuck up, didn't you? You fucked up pretty bad, mate. You tried to kill a lot of people, essentially, and tried to force your fucking views on this entire civilization. It's like, imagine if, like tomorrow you read in the news about some guy who was like, you know, he tried to kill everyone who wasn't Christian, or he tried to forcibly, like, brainwash everyone into being Christian or something. Obviously, you wouldn't think, oh, what a great guy, unless maybe if you were Christian you might, but if you weren't, you'd be like, what a fucking piece of shit. That's Sunday. I feel like I can't really say that he's anything other than an orange or red flag. He's only an orange flag because he has his little redemption arc at the end where he's like, oh, you know what, I guess I did mess up a little bit, oopsies. So I'll put him in orange flag, but I still don't like Sunday. I don't think I want to go anywhere near Sunday. Fuck this guy, honestly. The Herter is probably a red flag, but you're gonna be an orange flag, so I like the Herter. The Herter is a lot like March. She has her head so firmly fucking stuck up her own ass that you would never so much as kiss those lips. I'm gonna be honest. She would not date you. She would go nowhere near you. She would not go anywhere fucking near you at all. She is so unpleasant, realistically. But I've said before, my taste in women is pretty fucked up. So I think it's quite charming that she's so unpleasant. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think it's charming. But you probably shouldn't date her. You probably wouldn't care too much if you were in a dangerous situation. She probably would put you in a dangerous situation just to see how you would respond to it. For science or something. Because that's kind of the person she is. I feel like she's definitely an orange flag at least, if not a red flag. Again, I'm slightly biased to moving her down a little bit because that's just what I'm into, I guess. Just fucking horrible people who will just fucking kill me. Topaz is a red flag. Fuck Topaz. People like Topaz a lot. I don't know what's wrong with them. People are fucked in their head. Topaz is like only a little bit better than Jade. Like Topaz, she's afraid of Jade, so Jade is obviously worse than she is. But Topaz is a pretty horrible person. Like the only good thing about Topaz is she likes animals. Other than that, She literally tries to fucking, like, put an entire planet into debt so that they can spend the rest of their miserable lives fucking working their asses off purely for, essentially, Space Amazon. She tries to get them all on Space Amazon's fucking payroll so that they could be completely ruled over and dominated by their fucking corporate overlords. And at the end of it all, she was like, no, but I'm really doing it because I want to help people. Like, fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking arrogant, you fucking lying bitch. Like, actually, fuck you. Made me so angry. I genuinely dislike Topaz. Like, I actually feel genuine anger towards this character. Like, I like that they love animals, and I love animals. That's the only good thing about them in my eyes. Everything else, fuck you, Topaz. And fuck that game trying to redeem her constantly. I hate her. And then Welt's a green flag. Welt's just a good guy. Like, there's nothing really wrong with Welt. Welt's a good guy. I like Welt. I would date Welt. Probably. And that's my list. That is my list. Mods, invert Piffling's balls. Mods, please, no! But yes. There we go. That is the tier list complete. That was only an entire hour of rating characters on how dateable they really are. Honestly, time well spent. What can I say?